Lizzie Thomas.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Mauritius. I think it's the first time that you're coming to this part of the world. And welcome now in my show, Interview du vendredi. I always started with a silly question, but who is Lizzie Thomas?
Oh,
Nasty question.
That's a really, straight away, that's a real profound question. Just somebody who enjoys connecting with people and enjoys seeing people be themselves in a work environment. In this context today, it's just people having that aha moment and that personal responsibility of like, oh, this is who I am and this is who I could be.
But intro who you are. I want to know, my public want to know who you are. You have kids, your grandmother.
Okay.
What is the big picture? The big picture.
So I live in London.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Spain. I was born in Spain,
yeah.
Barcelona, so I support Barcelona.
Yeah.
And lived there till I was 5, moved to the UK, and then I did all my growing up in the UK. Then I travelled to America, and I was supposed to go for 1 year, and I went for 9 years. And what happened was I played semi-professional football, soccer as you call it,
yeah.
And I got a scholarship, and I went to the States, did it for 2 years, and then after that I got burnt out. And then I realised that I didn't want to leave the States, and that's how I found Carnegie, or we found each other.
Silly question, was it at the age of 40 that you made your burnout and found out that you would like to go another way, your way?
Say that again, Jesse?
Is it at the age around of 40 years that you realised that you wanted to go another way?
Actually, it was a bit earlier. 40s, something different happened, but this happened with 28, 29, which is actually also evidently another critical year.
Yeah.
So that's when I made the transition. In my 40s, actually, is when you actually stop caring about what other people think, and you can really now focus on really doing what you're supposed to do. So I now live in London. I have a lovely man in my life. His name's Kenneth. He's a tennis coach, and no children. Half of my family live in Spain, half live in London. And
so we can say that Lizzie Thomas is a cosmopolitan person, a world person. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, because I've got and that's probably why my job is my job right now is dealing with different cultures, because I think I have that too.
So because you're just telling me, Lizzie, that since that you're Spanish, you live in a bit, you're a little British, you have that American way style, you can say, that make you become another person, that made you become another person?
Made me more appreciative of where I come from, but also how to understand that no matter where you are in the world culturally, we all want the same and need the same.
Did that put you in question? The interior me, question, I was living like that, and then with all these experiences, Spanish, I think there's music, there's football. In UK, it's another football, it's the same, but in America, we're staying, because you talk about soccer, that's why I'm staying on soccer.
Absolutely.
And then you went there, it's another way of soccer. Soccer is not famous.
Yes.
But it is getting famous since we have Beckham, all the English stars playing in the teams there. That changed you?
That's a good question. Yes, because when I was first growing up, it's like, am I Spanish? Am I English? Am I Spanish? Am I English? And it was almost a little bit of a being torn one way or the other, until I finally just realised that actually you can amalgamate both. I'm both.
You're both of what?
Spanish and English. I've got both.
The American style that influences the world by their way of style, their way of doing, their way of thinking and voting right now.
Yes.
We've seen that things are changing. We've seen it not far from your place in France.
Yes.
And that also matters now? All these matters in your life?
Yes. And it matters because no matter what's happening in the world, is that we all still are bound together and we all need each other. And right now the world is probably going a little bit crazy with all different philosophies and styles, but actually people still want the human connection and still want to make an impact.
Your Carnegie Master franchise feel executive. I won't go in the franchise. What is a Carnegie Master?
A Carnegie Master is responsible for the standards of delivery that happens around the world. So we're what we call standard bearers. So you've got trainers who know how to work with clients to give them what they need. So my job is to make sure that this is happening around the world.
So your everyday rhythm in a country, another country? No,
thank gosh. And I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to be away too long. But I deal connect on the Zoom and Skype with different cultures. Yes, but I don't have to be everywhere.
So the fact that we have these we say social medias, these technological, make your job easier.
Yes.
In London.
Oh my gosh.
You have to come or dial and wait, and now you have Skype. You can see. You can do either a training course with Skype, with Facebook, or Facebook Live. Yeah.
You're right, absolutely spot on. I wouldn't be able to do. And in fact, this is my first time here, as you said. 2 months ago, I did a presentation for Vimy and the franchisees via Zoom, where the leaders could hear me and ask me questions. That happens because of technology.
Since you said some minutes ago that you like to connect people,
yeah.
But when you're in front of your laptop and
yes.
Maybe a personal computer, this is not a bit not unhumanized. Okay. You can touch, you can feel, you can see them, but you can see the body language.
Yes.
But a bit difficult for you to deliver a course or a speech in front of people that you see but you cannot feel.
Yeah, it is more challenging. It can still happen because you're still connecting. You're still connecting with a person. You can actually still feel them, Jesse, even when they're across the day. So it still can work. There's nothing better than face to face still.
Why that?
Because face to face is you've got more time, you've got the quality of the interaction is much deeper, you haven't got the distractions. Well, we've got our phones sometimes, but I don't know, you can I think probably you can feel much more depth.
If I take this answer, I go to Facebook and I add them to the youngster now.
Yes.
Seems that for them it's no problem, they don't want to have that physical, I don't know, to be in the vital zone and whatever you say about it.
Yes.
They're happy about it. You know a person, they can get in love with a person, just like I said, but when you put them in face to face like we are, there's no more than 1 minute and 30 minutes, they are not able to talk.
Yes. We discussed that today, interestingly enough, in the seminar, is that, and the millennials were saying that they find it hard to have deep, meaningful relationships. It's not to say they don't want them, but it's not their fault, they say, because of the technology and the way that their parenting is that it's not their fault. But what they used to is superficial. What they do also want is the meaningful relationships, because they're still human beings. Still human beings.
But why the kids do not want to put that I can put them near to near or back to back. They can talk for 1 hour on the Facebook, but whenever it's face to face to give their feelings in words,
yes,
does not go.
They're used to more interaction with technology and more much faster and quicker, and they're used to things quicker. So when you're face to face, it's more easily distracted. All of us do, by the way. Millennials, possibly they feel it more because they're used to the technology. So
current businesses must face millennials. Why do we call them Y generation now it's another name, the millennials?
Yes.
Because they are 17, so they are born in 2000.
Yeah.
And then now they're 17, they are going to be 18.
Yes.
Adults legally.
Yes.
And the work industry is not ready for them. That's what you have been telling to the guys with the HR or those doing recruitments.
Is what the group today have discovered is that they have a responsibility as HR directors to create the right environment and to understand them and engage them. So it's not enough to to label them. It's how do I now, as HR director, I need to be flexible, I need to be adaptable. It's not just them, so that because we need them as much as they need us, and they still want engagement. And that's what, and you heard them this morning. We say, what's the price you pay if we don't retain millennials? They said, attrition. They would say, you know, it's stress. They would say, actually, they lose people. It costs them a lot of money to lose people. So they today, the man at the end said, what I've learned today is that I'm responsible, and I have my barriers, and I've got to drop my barriers to be able to connect with millennials.
This is the main problem, the barriers. So there is a generation gap. I think I've seen it in fear. Generation fear or generation gap?
There's a gap, but what we found today, and a fear, because the gap is different. We were born into different, so we've got different stars, but the fear is, one man said today, I'm not assertive, millennials are assertive, and that makes them uncomfortable. So he learned today, instead of fighting that, how can I actually learn from them? I mean, that's powerful. Got different generations today saying, how can we learn from each other? So they walked out saying, there's no I or you, there's just us.
This is another, they want to, you change their world?
I change the world?
Maybe because if someone says there's no I, there is us, you have crossed a big bridge.
I think I was a catalyst. I can't say I changed them, because I won't take that responsibility, because they were responsible for that. They did it. I was just the catalyst that enabled them to make that decision today.
So, how can a HR, a talent searcher, in French we call it a chasseur de tête, can identify a millennial?
They are fast. They're focused. Yeah, they can be impatient. They are willing to go the extra mile. They want work-life balance. They want to know you care about them. Not that you just care about their job, but you care about them. They want to know what's happening in the business, not from just an HR level, but from a corporate level. They want to know they can make a difference, and they want to make it quickly. They're not patient, because that's what.
That's a big. In French we call it défaut. This is the big défaut of the millennials. So they want it right now, very quick.
And they learned today that both the generations learned that they might want it quickly, but actually the HR, other generations can help them build much more patience and deeper relationships. So that's how you define them, I think.
You can teach me a lot. You can teach me how to take a step. You can show me how to tie my shoes. You can teach me how to read and write, how to win and how to lose. Did you know I could learn to save a life?
How the HR going to deal with the millennials on that aspect?
Well, interesting enough, it's over there. What they said today, they're going to stop criticising them. They're going to stop talking at them. Somebody said, I need to stop being a dictator. Jesse, that's huge. And they said, I need to listen. I need to create an environment where they have a sense of purpose. I want them to think that one millennial said we need to think together. Human contact, build trust. Can you see? That's what they said today that they would do and stop doing.
So will this HR be able to recognize a generation gap? It's not a type of fitting of the way of look. We know there's a big gap, and the youngsters now and the oldsters, by the way of wearing, to be very classical. They're nearly in the beach when they work.
Yes.
So is it that easy to recognize the generation gap?
Yes. And I think today, somebody said today, what I learned is that this is a very complex subject, but it really isn't. It's actually very simple. They want three things: personal relationships, work-life balance, and leadership, the right leadership.
You talk, does emotion lead to leadership?
Yes, it is absolutely critical. You cannot lead without emotions. You need logic, you need both, but you need to be, and actually again, Jesse, what they found out today is they all said, I need to be kind, I need to be more empathetic, I need to be positive, I need to be more open. That's the kind of emotional traits that help leaders.
Normally the directors, they put that very far away. The directors, they put it very, very far away. What did you just say? Kindness.
Yeah.
They had to be the boss.
Yeah.
Oh, be seen to be the boss. That's all. Why? Is it easy for them to take that emotion back, to put it on the track?
Some of them, for some it's easier. For others it's something, as you said, that they separate logic and emotion, and you can't bring emotion in. And I'm sure that can cause a lot of challenges. What's happening now is that it's showing you that emotional intelligence is critical.
Yes, I was coming to that too. This is a new concept in the world, the EI,
yes.
Like we say, emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Is this in the training now in Dale Carnegie in the States?
This is why we've been going for 100 years, because we don't just focus on the behaviour and the performance, but we look at the emotional intelligence behind that. You need all three.
Why do we need the three?
Because we're human beings. We make decisions not based on logic, but based on emotions. We might transfer it to logic, but we actually always make decisions based on emotions.
What's Lizzie is telling me that the pathway to a decision, we go through emotion first? You
need both. You can't have one, because you can't be emotional, and people also construe emotional as out of control. You need to be emotive and logical at the same time. It's like the heart and the head, and must sit together.
But sometimes we don't see there's something called culture, way of living outside in the board.
Yeah.
We are in company where the board, in fact, you want to do something,
yes.
You have the emotion, you have the logic,
yeah.
But the culture just get the rope.
Yeah, and that is why companies are coming to us, still coming, because they still need mentoring, guiding, coaching on how do we bridge the gap, but how do we actually make the right decisions for the company.
So you tell them to take out the scissors and throw it far away?
No, that's too drastic. With Dale Carnegie, we look at where are they now, where they need to be, who are they now, who they need to be. We help them bridge the gap.
What are the three drivers for engagement for a millennial to engage himself in a company where we know now that 7 years is too much to keep someone?
It's the same as it has been for years. Pride in their organisation. They need to feel proud. Number two, they need to feel that their immediate manager cares about them. And number three, they need to know what's going on at the corporate level, senior manager. They need to know and respect what's happening. And that, Jesse, whether millennial, whether you're you and I
listen to you, there's nothing to do with work. If I listen to you, I've seen emotion, and another emotion. Yeah. So there's nothing to do. It's like you don't feel well, you don't feel esteem, you have not you're not well self-esteem, and then the guy say, okay, today I'm leaving because so it's not about the work he's doing. It's just like because the relationship between his colleagues, higher or lower, is not good, is not sufficient, or is not what?
Well, they still need to be doing what all of us need to be doing, what we like to do as well, for some more than others, but generally speaking, the relationship with the boss is very, very important. That is what people leave jobs generally because of their relationship with their immediate manager.
So how can then strengthen their relationship? They want to keep the job, but the boss, the nearest boss, is not that guy that you wanted to have. Looks like father, who looks
yes.
like grandmother, or big brother.
Yep.
How can then strengthen their relation with their boss, the big boss, the CEO, even someone who's sitting on a board of directors?
Yeah, it's that slow building trust, building relationships. It's not criticising, condemning, complaining. It's giving people appreciation. It's finding out what will make people do things. It's about being genuinely interested in other people. It's about listening. It's all the things that today the group experienced.
Can a boss give a sincere appreciation?
Can a boss do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes happen because normally whenever it's too good, you have a clap on your head and it goes. When there's something bad, you see that he's
yes.
talking from his office.
Yeah. Well, the responsibility of a manager is you've got to be aware of that and not just comment when things aren't going well, but actually give feedback when things are going well. Celebrate.
Is it important for a millennial to make his boss feel like important?
It's both ways.
Yeah.
It's you think in a relationship is always both ways. So both. Yes, he needs to make him feel important and vice versa.
Is there cooperation? Sometimes there's a cooperation. We feel that things are running like a big machine, like I don't know what make of cars you have in Spain.
Yeah.
We say a car. Is there cooperation between the two? Because sometimes in a company we don't have only one generation. There is at least the millennials, the X, the Y, the X, the baby boomers, and now the old ones are nearly at home, but they sit on the board.
Yes, right.
They sit on the board. So we say those who are born in 40,
yes.
just before the Second War II began.
That's right.
Up to here in 2017, there's a lot of generations.
That's about 5 or 6 generations. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's becoming more. I mean, that's the norm now, isn't it?
Grandfather, father, son. Yeah.
And you can't get away with that. But really, let's get back to what everybody always wants: is human connection.
So you say that only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. So it's turning your back. Is it turning my back?
It's choosing your battles, and when you do it, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
What type of a person that are willing to avoid when they are strong? Normally, when you have an argument, you feel that you have we say vous avez raison. You're good on your point.
Yes.
Personally, I'm not going to avoid it. I'm going to go. But you are telling that it's to avoid it. What?
Self-control, discipline, self-control, discipline, and empathy. Seeing it from the other person's point of view. I'm not saying it's easy, but actually, it's having that control to say, "Hang on a minute, what's going on over here? What do you really? What's important to you?" And just control, self-control.
And never say you're wrong. That's very hard. Very hard for him. If you have a dictator type of director,
yes,
and he will say you're wrong.
Yes,
you're wrong.
Yep.
Either you change or either you go. So for a director to say never to say you're wrong, it's very hard.
Yeah, because it's not mixing up the person and what they've done. So you and I could be working together, and you could do something, make a mistake, but you're not wrong. Maybe the mistake is, but not you. It's separating the issue to the person.
But sometimes we personalize the problem gets to yourself.
Yeah.
But you have been doing the mistake.
Yeah.
So the person doing the message is going to personalize it. It's me, 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 me. And the guy in front of, I don't know, 70 people is calling at you. It's very difficult.
Absolutely. It's back to it's self-control.
How can I get you to say yes, yes immediately?
Well, find out what motivates you. Find out what you like and why you like it.
What do you like?
What do I like?
Yeah.
I like, do you know what just came to mind? I like chocolate.
Why do you like chocolate?
Because I like it with a cup of tea.
It's not a chocolate, now it's a cup of...
No, but not in it, yeah. I like, yeah, you're right, it becomes a hot chocolate, isn't it?
It's a
yeah,
hot chocolate.
Yeah.
It's not, whenever you tell emotion you like chocolate, it's a bar of chocolate. It's not a hot chocolate. Chocolate is for kids at 7 before they go to school.
Yes.
For those who have it in rushes. But you prefer hot chocolate in a cup than to have your hands dirty with chocolate?
It's just having a couple of pieces.
I think I have the 15 points here. Let the other person to do great deal of the talking.
Oh,
so
that's not easy, is it?
No, that's not easy because this is the familial. I'm coming back to that culture.
Yes.
There's familial. There's you go where sometimes maybe you have noticed it when you came. This is one of the friends of Vimia Padou. He's in charge of training here. Whenever you come in a conference room, you go near your friends. You don't go the guys who is nearly lost.
Yes.
But you go to your friend you're used to.
Your comfort zone, isn't it?
I don't know. You tell me it's a comfort zone. Yes, you're right. It's my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I come, I see. I met Vimy. I met her friend.
Yes.
I know the news. It's a normal. In fact, it's a normal thing. But how can I me myself change it?
Change what specifically, Jesse?
So if ever I come in a reunion or a conference, a seminar, instead of coming to come and greet Lizzie, I go to that guy who is a bit lost there, who is looking, what's going on? I don't know somebody. What I'm doing? The shy guy.
It's expanding. I mean, the great companies and great leaders are the ones that are constantly innovating. So as a person, you just need to be genuinely interested in other people and being curious.
You can teach me a lot. You can teach me how to take a step. You can show me how to tie my shoes. You can teach me how to read and write, how to win and how to lose. But did you know I could learn to save a life?
To focus on your gain willing cooperation sheet.
Yes.
How can I dramatize my idea? So put it in perspective, let's say in a situation based and a simulation that we call it.
You just did it now.
Yeah.
Like this. It's just putting energy and passion into something.
Emotions into it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we dramatise, and that's how people remember it. Now it has to be genuine, but it's coming from the inside out.
The heart.
Absolutely, coming from the heart.
I know I'm a challenging man, so how can I throw down the challenge, Lizzie Thomas?
Is always appeal to the highest self of the person. So you throw down a challenge. You know what, Jesse? I could ask you, what do you love doing? What motivates you? You find out, and then you throw down a challenge. You might say, you might have a team member, millennial, and you know that they want to impact the world. You say, right, show us come up with an innovative idea for this strategy. What do you think? That's throwing down a challenge.
Oh, yeah. I thought that throwing down a challenge is, okay, I see a challenge, I know the wall is too high for me, I'm not a high jumper, and I'm a walker, I'm not a leader, I may be a follower, so I throw down. I thought throwing down a challenge was not that, it's another concept.
It's giving the other person a fine reputation to live up to. Throwing down a challenge is knowing that you know that they can do it. They may not see it, but you're giving them a fine reputation to live up to.
Who is a leader? I'm going to talk here about leaders that we have.
Yeah.
Genuinely, who is a leader?
In the world?
In the world.
Who do I like?
Yeah.
People that have a cause. Gandhi was a leader.
Yes, everyone. Leadership is equal to Gandhi.
Mother Teresa was a leader. Alex Ferguson for Manchester United, because I love him, is a leader.
Princess Diana, maybe in UK, she was a leader. And do you think personally she was a leader?
Yeah, absolutely. A leader depends what you define as leader. You know.
So a leader should ask questions instead of giving direct orders.
Oh yeah, that one's a toughie with people, but yes, because do you know why? You ask people questions is they find out their own answers themselves. If you tell people what to do, they're not going to take responsibility. You ask people a question and get them to find the answer, they take responsibility.
Let the other person say, this is another, there are very hard things to do.
Oh, these are not easy.
Yeah, these are not, let the other say the face, so maybe we have a critical situation, and then you diplomatically open a door so that they can go out with a smile in the face. That's what you're telling?
Yep, it's when sometimes you're in an argument and you want to say something and you know it can embarrass them, you know it could hurt them. We have to stop doing that. It's not easy, but it lets the other person's dignity, when we lose somebody's dignity, we lose them forever.
How can I call attention to other people's mistake indirectly?
Talk about your own mistakes first, and then that's one way, so they see your own humility, and then indirectly ask them a question. You might you just get them to see it without hitting it, and sometimes people need that. Sometimes it's a time to be direct, sometimes it's a time to be indirect.
So we must be some direct and indirect, and then sometimes go into diplomacy.
Yeah. Can you see, as a human being, we always have to be the balance, but it depends on how the person's going to respond. If I know that you can respond to directness, I'll be more direct with you.
You can be direct to me.
Yeah.
This is Lizzie Thomas. You can be very direct to me. And last one on that part, to be a leader. Is it easy to give the other person a fine reputation to live up to? I know they're very hard questions.
No, they're good questions, because we have to know what is important to that person and what their vision is and what they want, and then you help them get it by helping them recognize that they have innate talent that's waiting to be bursting to come out.
Last question on that be a leader part is, have you seen some leaders from the Mauritians that you have seen, apart from the A-team? We are going to the A-team, the Mauritian team that won a big award in US.
I'd say here, today I saw a lot of leaders. I mean, they came in a little bit timid, they were waiting for information, and our process is to facilitate, and I saw 40 leaders here today. 40?
All
everybody who comes
in. Honestly, you've seen 40, or maybe 20, 40?
In my eyes, they're all leaders.
Yeah.
Now, whether I'd say how many actually walked out knowing they're leaders, that's going to be a different number. So
you're Mauritius with the A-team, I think, the team that won a big prize, made Mauritius very proud in the way you say. So, are you happy to be with one of the A-team that Dale Carnegie have?
Absolutely. They live the principles, they respect the principles, and they're here to make a difference in Mauritius with long-term partnerships.
Is their way of doing is different from what you've seen in US, in UK, in
No.
Spain, or it's a mold?
Our brand is very original, but our brand is a global footprint. So we're doing the same. Every culture, there might be some tweaks, but the brand stays the same.
It's the same thing, but
Yeah.
if I go to see someone in UK in the coming weeks, it's the same course on millennials.
You would see the same facilitation. You'd have a different group, different context, but the facilitation skills and the coaching would be the same.
I put maybe a difficult question, Lizzie Thomas. What are you going to tell to a millennial that would like to engage himself in a company, a big company or small company? What would you tell to him?
Is you value, you matter, and you have a lot to offer. Find out what the other generations can help you with, and one of the areas they can help you with is how to develop and deepen your relationships, because they take time and trust. And the millennials want to impact people. Is how do you need other people to help you impact other people. So just stay open as you are, and know that building relationships takes time. You have a lot to offer companies.
So they must be patient instead of be impatient.
Yeah, and I think that's for everybody. We want things quicker, everybody, not just millennials.
Because we are living in a quick world, because we are nearly half a year's past, and it was like a flick of a switch. We were celebrating the New Year, and suddenly we were in the month of May.
Exactly, and I think what you just reminded me is a great quote. I was watching a film the other day from the founder, the gentleman that was responsible for the franchising of McDonald's, and he said in the story, it says, good things comes to those who wait. And that's the same message for millennials, for all of us, is that relationships take time, and actually relationships are always taking time. They're like gardens, need to nurture them.
Last set of questions. Are the values of the Carnegie since 19-something still
Yes.
values for
Integrity, passion, enthusiasm, our methodology, how we do it, and a real passion to help, but to help organisations be successful and grow.
Are these
people.
Up to date? Sometimes you say self-esteem. There's a little book I like to tell you, it's like the Red Book of Mao. These values that you tell, the 10 or 12 values that you tell in that book to everyone, whenever there's a training, a course, a presentation, are they up to date? Are they still alive in 2017, 100 and so afterwards?
Well, look at the first principle. They're timeless. Don't criticise, condemn, and complain. It doesn't matter if that was 1930 or 2018. They're human principles. Put them into context, they work. The context changes, but not the principles.
Whenever we listen, you listen to shows, maybe you see at TV, you see even a news show. We have the impression that these values, the millionaires are putting them a bit because they have money, they want to have big car, and as you said, they want to have it quick and right now. So how are you going to bring these values that for them it's from prehistoric time into their life, and tell them this is the values and that is going to make you a better person in the future?
Great question, because Jesse, they are human beings, not human machines. Human beings, they want to know how I can be better, how I can do things differently, and the principles are all about that. Yes, there's some people that want to get a better car, a better house, but that's great, but that's really not what they really want. Everybody generally wants human connection.
Which value will be the hardest for these millennials to let's say, a big word, incorporate, taking them themselves to assimilate?
Patience.
This is the one. Patience.
Yes.
How are you in your training around the world, going to tell to these 17, 18 years guys to be patient when they have that? Before crying, they have it.
Yes, that's right. Well, sometimes it's not their fault. It's the way a lot of the times how they were brought up, their parenting. How you're going to help them is they want to have an impact. Is arouse an ego want. They want to have an impact in the world. So then that's their goal. show them that sometimes it takes time, and coach them. They love coaching. Mentor them. They have a mentor and a coach by their side. They'll get there.
Why would they need a mentor, a coach, whenever they have, and when you see they have a lot of certificates, of diplomas? Because
we all need a mentor in our life, and I'm sure most of us. Mine is my yoga teacher, is one of my mentors, and because we get distracted, because this can cause a lot of, can make us go a route that we don't want to go.
Well, yoga. You do yoga?
I do yoga meditation. Yeah. I'm a teacher, as well on the side. I do yoga meditation because it's going back to who we really are, not the distractions. It's the philosophical, psychological aspect of Lizzie Thomas. It's a way of life. It's how I live. Actually, it's how I live. I'm spiritual. I'm also, practical, but spiritual. That impact in your job at the Carnegie? Absolutely, because we coach at not just the level of what people do and what they need to get, but also who they are and who they need to be. Lizzie Thomas, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you on in l'interview du vendredi. Have a nice day, Mauritius. Visit the paradise according to Mark Twain. I don't know if it's still the same. And thank you for helping these guys that need a lot of help, because the world of work is another world. Is it? Oh, Jesse, thank you. It's been a real pleasure. You made it very easy. Thank you very much, Lizzie.
You can teach me a lot. You can teach me how to take a step. You can show me how to tie my shoes. You can teach me how to read and write, how to win and how to lose. Did you know I could learn to save a life?